Oh my gosh, this week we're at Saba Asri and I don't know what happened here. Look at the grass, look at all the debris. Something really looks wrong. We normally come to Saba Asri to do turtle conservation, but something is different this week and I think you must come with me so that we can solve this mystery. So come on, look. That's a lot of trash. Something must have happened. So unless we go inside and find out, we won't know. See many of the kids here. Hi guys. Hi. So here at Saba Asri, they do turtle conservation. And I'm sure many of you might wonder, what is turtle conservation, or why is turtle conservation even important? So I'm going to point you towards this big board with a lot of cool information. So first of all, there are threats to turtles, okay? These big, beautiful beauties that swim in the ocean. Not tortoises that walk on land, turtles that swim in the ocean. So there are many threats to them. One is global warming, where the earth gets hotter, their habitats change because of this heat, and that impacts them and might lead to their death and, of course, to their extinction. Their nesting habitat loss is happening. A lot of people are building where turtles are supposed to be laying their eggs and making their nests. Marine debris, this stuff what we just saw outside, people throwing their plastic and all sorts of things into the ocean, and then that harms turtles, and it can harm their living conditions. Chemical pollution, people that might pour all sorts of chemicals into the water and they might drink it and it goes into their bodies. And get this, fishing accidents, where people might be out in the ocean just enjoying the sun and having a great time, and maybe their boat hits a turtle. That's real, it happens. Illegal poaching, when people go and catch the turtles to use their shells. Boat strikes. Animal predators, which is natural. It might be that the baby turtles get eaten by a lizard, or somebody's domestic pet like a dog catches the baby turtles on the beach, even the birds and sharks. But these are natural animal predators, or at least the sharks and the birds are, and the lizards. These guys, the domestic pets, that's our pets, right? So it also gives us an indication that we should be able to look after our pets and make sure that they don't contribute to the loss of turtle habitats. But also, get this, artificial lights? What does that even mean? Have you ever thought about the light in your house? Get this, the light in your house might be a threat to turtles. So let's get deeper into this. All of these problems actually also help us to understand better what can we do to help sea turtles. So first of all, we can turn off our lights that are visible from the beach. Now, this is quite interesting because I didn't know this, but when turtles are swimming at night, they get disorientated. Their whole compass gets disturbed and they don't know where they are or where they are going. So when they see lights on the shore, it really confuses them to where they are. Because a long time ago, when there weren't a lot of people and when people weren't building a lot of houses next to the sea and to the ocean, it was dark. And they would have an internal navigation. Now all of a sudden there's a big light spot and they are swimming towards it thinking, am I home yet? Or is it supposed to be the other side? So turning off your lights at your house when you don't use them, especially the lights on the outside, when you're staying close to the beach, that's a good help. Now, you can also help in many other ways. One of them being not disturbing the nesting places where turtles are laying their eggs, protecting those hatching spaces. Maybe some of you go to the beach and go for a swim, and And this actually happened to me. My son was on the beach and he saw dogs digging in the sand, and he went over, and you won't believe it, there was a whole nest of turtle eggs, and he got a lot of people together to say, hey, we need to protect and close and tell people that this little spot needs to be conserved and looked after. You can do the same. Okay, Saba Asri here in Bali, they are doing the same. They are protecting this habitat, they are protecting this nesting place, and in that way, they are securing future generations of turtles. This one's a big one. Keep beaches and waterways free from trash. This is a universal problem. You don't even need to live at the ocean to have this problem. I'm sure many of you have seen a river or a creek or even the road to your house that might have some trash there. So unless we keep all of these places, all of these environments clean, it will constantly be a threat to our environment, and specifically in this case, if our ocean is dirty, it is a big threat to the ocean life, and most particular in this case to turtles. So let's also look at this. What can you do so you can keep the waterways and the beaches clean, but you can also participate in a beach cleanup? Just think, how fun is that? When you and your friends or your family go to the beach, take a small bag. Just say, okay, for today, before we go swim or after we go swim or before we have lunch, we're just gonna pick up this small little bag of trash and we're gonna take it with us and we're gonna put it in the recycling. Every small little piece of help changes your thinking and your feeling on the inside. When your mind and your heart is changed, your hands will automatically do more and more of the right thing. So come on, look here. You can also stay alert when boating. So if you do go out on a boat and you do spend time with friends and families on the boat, be aware. Open your eyes. Look around you. Make sure that you also look into the water and over the boat to the horizon and say, hey, hang on. There might be turtles here, or there might be other animals here. Think about that propeller of the boat. Or think about when you are fishing in the ocean. Anything like that might be a threat to a turtle. Can you imagine if a hook, a fishing hook, gets stuck in the nose of a turtle? That can be very painful. It can be very dangerous, and that's harmful. But we're not saying don't, we're just saying be more aware. Do your part. Now, this one is also interesting. Never abandon any fishing hooks or line in the water. Now guys, this is real. When we started this video a few minutes ago, I already picked this up. Look, I already picked up a fishing line and a piece of rope. And what happens is that these fishing lines and ropes get stuck in the fins of the turtles, which means they kind of get tied up, and that means they cannot swim. Now, you can imagine if you're a turtle and you need your flippers to swim, and all of a sudden you're stuck, you're going to drown, and that's not good. And this is all caused by us as humans. So a very, very big shout out and call to bigger organizations in the world is to actually support education and places where we can also help local communities understand what their impact is and the cause and effect on their decisions. And for example, something as small as this, where fishermen use these lines to tie their boats, but when they don't use it anymore, they just cut and leave it. And understanding that this actually impacts their right livelihood. It impacts their life into the future. So they should take care of the ecosystem that actually is exchanging life to them. So this is a big one, and we'll talk more about this in the next episode. Now, let's go here. I am sure all of you that are listening are super creative, which means when you shop with a reusable shopping bag, which I'm sure many of you can make your own shopping bag, or reuse an old bag instead of a plastic one, that is a good idea. We're gonna take a walk on the beach in a short moment, and you will see. I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring my good friends Trishna and Arta, and we're gonna challenge each other to see in 1 minute when we go to the beach to see how many shopping bags we can pick up. So, just so you know, Trishna is back, the balalang catcher, remember? And Arta. So, the three of us, we make a great team. And today we're gonna go to the beach in a short while, and we're gonna go and see what else we can find. So, just coming back to this, reducing the amount of our garbage and chemical waste. Now, I'm not sure, maybe many of the shopping in your house happens because your mom goes to the shop or your dad goes to the shop. It might not be you that does the shopping for your house. But the next time that you open up a pack of crisps, or you open up a soft drink or anything, ask yourself, where would this plastic go? Or where would this container go? Every time you eat something or drink something, where does your trash go? It might go into the bin, but where does it go after it goes into the bin? Oh, the garbage guy picks it up. But then where does the garbage guy take it? Oh, he takes it to the landfill. What happens if the landfill is full? Well, some people throw it in the ocean. But you know, we have a clever friend here at the Learning Center, and he says, well, the stuff that doesn't go into the bin, you can change into composting. Another great story that we will tell in some coming episodes about composting. But the things that can decompose, like plastic and all of that, you should make sure that that doesn't go into the ocean. And a good way to do that is to make sure you don't buy it in the first place. This is number 9. But after number 9, you will find number 10. And number 10 means that you can share everything you know with others. You can come up with new ideas. You can come up with new solutions. You can come up with ways that work for you. I don't have to tell you what to do. I can show you some opportunities and alternatives, but you can also make a plan depending on where you live. Maybe you don't live close to the beach, right? Or maybe you only live close to a river. Maybe you live in a desert, I don't know. But even if you live in a desert, you can make good decisions in terms of keeping your trash in a good recycling place, or composting decomposable foods, whatever that might be. Okay, so this is a really, really cool information board that tells us a lot of information about turtles. And I know what you're wondering. You're wondering, are there any turtles here? There are so many turtles here, and I want to show you some of the small turtles. But before I show you these small turtles, I need to tell you something. These small little baby turtles that I'm going to show you, they take up to 30 years to grow into an adult, and then they can live for 50 to 80 years. Some live to be 100 years. And I'm not sure if any of you that are watching, if you are already 50 or 80 or even 100 years old. That's a long, long time. You should ask your mom and dad, how old are you? Are you half of a turtle's age or almost a turtle's age? It takes a long time. And within that time, many things can happen to turtles, like we've seen on this board. So imagine this small little turtle swimming in the ocean, having to fight off all sorts of plastics, all sorts of fishing line. They have to fight off natural predators. That's a big job for a small turtle. And it all starts with being laid as an egg on the beach by their mom. And that means their mom must have been somewhere between 30 and 100 years old. So every small turtle that you're gonna see today, their mom is already an adult. So I want to show you these turtle eggs. In these sand boxes, Saba Asri, as a conservation center, they put these eggs and they date them, and then they wait for them to hatch. But some of these eggs come here because people from the community collect them. And Saba Asri doesn't take money. They don't buy eggs from people. These are people that might stumble on the eggs, or who might see somebody trying to steal eggs from the beach, or maybe their dog found the eggs, or whatever that might be. But then people bring their eggs here, or bring the eggs here because there's a like-minded community knowing that we should look after these animals and conserve them. So in these sandboxes, that's where Saba Asri hatches. So let me take you over to the rehabilitation ponds where the small turtles are held by the community. So have a look here. In these ponds, there are many different ponds, and inside them they have many sections for these small baby turtles where they keep them safe until they are a certain age and a certain size, so that they can be released back into the ocean when they are strong enough. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, oh, this is so cute. Well, that part of it is correct. It is very cute. But I also want to tell you about something that is challenging. So we spoke about things that you could do to help protect turtles, keep the ocean clean, all of those things. Something else that you can do is that if you are near a turtle conservation, you can volunteer your time to help and clean the conservation ponds. So here at Saba Asri, we help to clean the ponds every 2 weeks. Why do we need to clean these ponds? Because one, it's a massive job. All the water needs to be drained. All the tiles need to be scrubbed because a lot of algae and things grow on the turtles and in the ponds, which are harmful, that brings harmful bacteria, and that is harmful to the turtles. Something else that happens, which is really sad, and I can show you over here, is that the turtles are carnivores. It means they eat meat. And at times, what can happen is that the water gets polluted, one turtle might get sick, and then that sickness spreads throughout the pond, and that infects all of the other turtles. And without enough people to help, you can lose quite a few lives of these turtles. Okay, so the success rate of putting turtles back into the ocean and actually keeping them healthy and strong is very high, but there are these occasional cases where some of these turtles don't make it. And it all needs us to contribute our willingness, our time, and our feeling of wanting to help. What happens if we do that? Well, let me show you. This pond looks a little bit dirty, but it's not. All of the little pieces at the bottom is from the food, and these guys are healthy. Just look at them. And I'm not putting my finger near their mouths because they can snap. And like I've said, they are carnivores and they would like to get some food. But something really beautiful that you can notice is their fins, their flippers. Just look at that, how they're gliding through the water, how their shell is designed to make them buoyant. You can see them coming up to get fresh air. They are really fascinating. And if you look very close, like look here, you can see their nose. The two dots on the front of their beaks, I think that's what you would call it, those two little holes is where they breathe. So the only thing that they need to do, they only need to put that pointy part up out of the water, and then they can breathe and off they go again. So they are really, really, really fascinating. And let's have a look here. Hello. I gently pick up one of them. Let's take a closer look. So first of all, look at the beautiful pattern on the back of this turtle. Like it's really, really such an amazing design, how they all fit into each other. The pattern on the shell is really something amazing to look at. But even look here. Look how the flipper is adapted to be streamlined onto the shell. Let's move it like that. Isn't that fascinating? How they just know? Look at that. And then if I turn the turtle here, and go down. Oh, look how the back flippers fold in. That is so cool. You can see him breathing, and you can see how he has this hard shell. That is his armor, his adaptation. So under here, under the hard shell, that's where he can fold in the softer webs, the softer parts of his body, and he can be protected. Even here on the head, he has that armor to protect himself. And even if you look at his eyes, they are protected by, it looks like a cave over them. And then if you look at the mouth, it almost looks like an eagle, because they are adapted to be predators, and they are adapted to be carnivores. So these sharp ends on their beaks allow them to rip and snatch and pull. And then you can see right here in the front, maybe you can see how the turtle is breathing. You can see the little bubbles coming through his nose. Isn't that fascinating? So literally only this small little part gets pointed out of the water. And again, up here, all so streamlined. Why is his body so streamlined? Because that helps him to glide through the water. It helps him to be more aerodynamic, water dynamic, and to get away from a predator, also to catch its own prey, and just to fight and work with the currents and the water within the ocean. So let's put him back. You guys ready? Okay. Slowly, slowly, let's go down, down, down to the water. Just give him a moment. You can see part of his adaptation is to be very still, to act as if he is not alive. Why? Because he thinks a predator is about to attack him. And again, he is adapted to be buoyant. Look how he moves around, moves his head, looks at the others, still keeping really still. Look at he's moving his head, up he goes. And isn't that fascinating? He does it for quite a long time. So imagine it was a shark circling around him. The shark will say, no, this turtle is not okay. He's probably not a good dinner. Look at the back of his feet, moving it. I should leave this turtle alone. But he's so clever. So look at the back. He's just keeping his front flippers very still, and soon he will swim off. So again, nature's genius, fooling us to make us think that, oh no, he's not okay. Well, that's really fascinating, isn't it? Because for a moment, I'm sure all of you thought, oh no, I think the turtle died. But that's part of their adaptation. And with a little bit of patience and with a little bit of understanding and keeping space, you can see that nature knows. Nature has its own way. But have a look here. Here's a good example of when the ponds have been cleaned. So all the slimy, yucky algae has been removed from the pond, and also from the turtle's shells, which are really, really cool. And I can show you here. Here are some of the tools that are used. So the nets to take the turtles out of the water, and these little kitchen sponges to scrub their shells. Let me actually show you one of them. So these guys, you can see this guy, if I put him here in the sun, oh wow. Do you see those dark spots on top of him? Those are algae spots. And with these sponges and even with toothbrushes like this, in the rehabilitation, we get to help the turtles by scrubbing it off. Did you see that? Look how it's coming off. Let's scrub him over there. Scrub, 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 scrub. And that's a big job. You can imagine how many baby turtles there are here, and they all need hand love and care. There you go. Right. And it happens on top of their heads, inside their bodies here, on the flippers. So until these guys are big and strong to go back into the ocean, they need a lot of care and attention. So I'm gonna put this guy back. So every 2 weeks, what we do is we come here, we volunteer our time, we take out every single turtle, scrub every single turtle, clean their ponds and put them back. But now, I want to go show you guys something else, because this area that I'm in is really, really amazing. First of all, it's amazing because of the sand. It's not white, the beaches are black, okay? And I'm sure many of you are wondering, why are the beaches black? Well, if you look through here, all the way over to those mountains, you will see a lot of dense clouds. Behind those dense clouds, you will find a volcano, and it's called Mount Agung. And here in the archipelago where I am in Indonesia, there are a lot of volcanic, they call it the ring of fire, a lot of volcanic activity. And these volcanoes, their explosions, their lava over millions and billions of years have transformed these beaches into black sand beaches. Now I'm going to tell you something about these black sand beaches, and you'll see it in a minute. Because they're black, they attract a lot of heat, and it is super hot out there, but I'm still gonna go there because I really want you guys to see. I'll keep my shoes on, and maybe I'll try to go barefoot, but we'll see how that goes. Something else I want to point out is, if you take a closer look here, you will see something doesn't look okay. And if you remember when we came into the gate this morning, I said, hey, hang on, something doesn't look right. Well, on Sunday, which means 5 days ago, that when from when we are filming this, a big wave came, like a freak wave, came and smashed into Saba Asri. It broke down all of the front structures of Saba Asri. And I actually want to show you guys, come have a look here. It's really, really devastating. And it does remind us the power of nature, and it does remind us that in nature, you need to be aware, and you need to be asking the right questions, and you need to be saying, what can we learn from this? What can we learn from this devastation? How can we understand nature better, and how can we actually solve this problem into the future? Because ultimately what needs to happen now is we need to rebuild this wall. But how will we do that in a sustainable way that will actually keep Saba Asri safe into the future? If you have some ideas, I really hope that you will put some comments below and you will share them with us. Because we don't hold all the answers, but we know collectively we can do that. Okay? So one last look at Saba Asri. Big devastation, such good work that they're doing right here in the community, and asking ourselves, how can we help? What can we do? What can we contribute? And on that, I'm gonna invite you for a walk with me and Trishna and Arta. We're gonna just do some beach combing. I see Arta already started, and we're gonna see what can we collect here on the beach. And once we've collected some things on the beach, we can have a discussion about that. You can see that Arta and Trishna have been scouting, and Trishna just found this piece of bag with this rope on it, and like we've said already, this has a big potential to harm not just the turtles but a lot of ocean life. So we're gonna do some beach combing up here, and you can see a lot of stuff here on the beach. So come on, let's see what we can do. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look at that. So crazy. Woo! Whoa. On the beach, there's so many things to find. Look at all of these things. Can you bring this pipette for me? Ah, there's a kaku. Kaku. I almost don't have hands for everything. Look at this. Look at this massive log that washed out on the beach. Oh, have a look. It's almost low tide. The tide's moving out. And you can see more of the rocks becoming visible. Right there in front, you'll see a fisherman with his net. There you go. Wow, this is so cool. Sure. This must have been a massive tree. Imagine this tree was a building. Come have a look here. Imagine that you would walk into this building and perhaps you're going down here and you're going into reception and there's a sky bridge over to the other side of the building, and maybe this side is office blocks and this side here might be some living quarters, and even look from this side. Whoa. Just the shapes and the different organic connections within this tree. It's really, really beautiful. I just want to touch it with my hand for a moment. You know, somewhere, once upon a time, a long, long time ago, this tree was a seed. A long time ago. Okay, so did you guys find a lot of stuff? Have a look here. So much debris. I can't believe it. This really gives you an indication of how strong that wave must have been. It really brought a lot of debris onto the beach. Okay, well, let's head back to the shade. Arta, Trisna, Ayo, let's go see what we found. Let's go back to the shady part. You'll see that the beach is all nice and sparkly, and actually there's a lot of metal pieces within the sand, and if you had a magnet, it will literally stick to that magnet like crazy. Oh, can you bring this rock? Ooh, we have some fossilized things there happening. I mean, just have a look here before we walk back to the shade. This is very unfortunate, but what you'll find is that people might not know what to do, and then without having the right knowledge or alternative, they will just go to destruction, and maybe they'll just burn everything. And within this, you can see there's glass that could have been recycled, and you can see that a lot of the organic matter here didn't need to be burned. That's really, really sad. Okay, I feel like I'm treasure hunting. Maybe Arta can hold this one for me. Thank you, Arta. When you walk in nature, it's really like a big playground, and it's really just an opportunity to be so creative and to find many alternatives to change your thinking, to bring more ideas, to change your skills. And today I'm really excited to see what Arta and Trisna collected on the beach and compare that to what I collected on the beach, and together just see what we come up with. Just by collecting things from the beach, we'll have a discussion and we'll be able to brainstorm, and I'll be able to show you guys that everything in life has multiple ways of approaching. So really, really cool. Oh, this is so strange. I don't even know what that is. Some sort of seed. So panas, yeah? I think we should make a mandala, like a circle with all of our trash. I wonder if the Ibu will ask us if we're okay. Permisi, Ibu. Arta, Trisna. Let's move it just here to the shade. Makasih, Ibu. You'll see some of the local people. It's in the middle of the day. They really know how to take care of themselves. Just taking a rest right here in the beautiful shady parts of the coconut trees. That in itself is beautiful, beautiful local wisdom. And that in itself, to actually stop and realize, nature is already providing on this hot day. It's providing shade, it's providing a nice breeze. It's only asking you to stop and use those alternatives. So let's have a look. Okay, so let's put it out in different ways. Let's have a look. Maybe you guys want to put it out there? Oh, good. What? That's so interesting. Let's put it. You got a Spider-Man? So let's put it out nicely so that we can all see it. Have a look. I have some rocks here. Isn't this just fascinating? I'm sure many of you just want us to pause and focus on something specific. So many categories that we can use here. Actually, I can put these from biggest to smallest. Oh, rocks. Ooh, what a nice find. Okay, so here we have some seeds. Here we have some wood. Believe it or not, here we have some skulls, some skeletons, some bones. If I look at this skeleton, at this bone, it kind of looks as if it was on the front of an animal. So even if I look at how long these two parts is, I'll be very curious and I'll be very bold to say that I think it must have been something with teeth, like a rat or some sort of rodent. So all very, very interesting parts. These parts that are almost like armor, must be for protecting somewhere. Oh, really, really so gorgeous. Let's put those there. Here's some seeds. It's a very nice palm seed from a palm tree. I wonder where this came from. I wonder how far it floated to come here. And this, I do not know. What type of seed this is. It's so furry. Do you see? It's like, it's really furry. This one also has hair, longer hair, but this guy, I don't know, it's almost like a carpet. So really interesting, and it's very dense, and it's just covering this whole seed, and I can see a small little hole in there. Something that we should go look into. I don't know what seed this is. And then here I have some pieces of wood. You can see somebody carved this, because here, especially in Bali, the craftsmen are amazing and they can carve so many things. So this also washed up onto the beach, and you can imagine that once upon a time this must have looked similar to this, right? Once upon a time it was a big tree somewhere growing on an island or just growing somewhere in a big forest. That in itself is really fascinating, and it's really heavy. It's really beautiful. I'm gonna put that down. Okay, and then let's first go to this guy. So this just caught my attention because it had so many holes. Hello, can you see me? I can see you. It had so many holes in it, and inside the holes you can see that some creatures were living in here, and they almost become fossilized within this rock. This is really fascinating. And I think for those of you that are interested in rocks and things like that, finds and treasures like this can be really fascinating. And also what this makes me think of is, what if this was a building? And what if these were multiple entrances to a building? Well, let's move on to these guys. Wow. These rocks immediately caught my attention on the beach. And if you look at them, you can see how this must have been a very, very big rock a long time ago. All of this, and they were formed layer by layer by layer by layer by layer. So what's really interesting when I look at this rock is that there must have been either a big flood or a big storm where a lot of mud and debris was basically changed into sediment. And here you can see different layers over time forming again. So this rock holds a very interesting story. It can tell us a lot about a place and time, and it really can make you so curious. Besides the beautiful shapes and curves that it has and colors. I'm gonna put that one down. And again, like, just look at that. Isn't that fascinating? I have so many questions. And then just showing you this one, but the most intriguing one for me is this one. If you look from the top, how on earth did these circles form? Look here, it is so perfect. It even makes you wonder if somebody drew it on there. When you look at the consistency and how it had to be forming, many curious thoughts. I can't get over this inner circle here. I'm really curious about these rocks. I'm going to take them back to the learning center and see if we can dive deeper into these guys. So when you do collect from nature, remember that it's important, if you're collecting for further studies, only take what you need. So in this case, I'm only going to take this one rock. I don't need all of these rocks because all of these rocks hold the same questions for me. And if you do take from nature, remember to also put back and not just, you know, hoard everything at your house for no purpose. Now let's move over to this side of the table, because this is actually, besides the curiosity on that table, this side of the table brings us kind of to a closing discussion for this session. And it brings us back to the turtles. And it brings us back to why it is important to look after our environment. And we were looking at the different threats that there are for turtles. And lo and behold, here they are. We've read on the board that different plastics and ropes are harmful. We read on the boat that people's trash can be harmful for the environment. Even if you think about the styrofoam, imagine when you look at this plastic fork, imagine that getting stuck in the nose or in the eye of a turtle. That's absolutely devastating. So again, not for us to think, oh no, everything's ruined, our earth is ruined. We're not saying that. But what we are saying is, unless we pay attention and unless we become aware, we won't know that there's a need to change and help and support. So even on this table with these little characters and this guy here and this plastic, I can see multiple opportunities to change them into stories, to change them into artwork, to change them into presentations, to actually spread the word and the awareness to other friends or to family or even to the people at your school. This table really represents you. It represents all the curiosity that is out there and all of the challenges that are pointing us into the right direction to make change. To change here, which will change here, we will help us to act through our hands and our doing. I hope you guys enjoyed all of Saba Asri, all of the black beaches, all of the hot sun, and all of the turtles with me this week, and of course meeting Tristan Arta. And I hope that you guys will tune in for more episodes on how we, me and you, us, can work together to create a more sustainable, quality, and equitable environment for all. Bye!
Hi, it's Peter and Nicolene from Tamed and Untamed Studio.
As usual, if you enjoyed our content, give us a shout out so that we can create especially what you would like to see next.
And don't forget to leave a comment below.